This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to be reviewing and comparing Dolce & Gabbana's Pour Homme. We're going to be reviewing Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme made in France by Beauté Prestige International Shiseido. And we're going to be comparing it to Italy's Italia, made in Italy version of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Believe it or not, even the made in Italy has suffered a reformulation. It's not a big difference in smell, but I also have the pre-reformulation made in Italy. Just a couple of droplets left. So we got made in Italy, first version, made in Italy, second version. And we have the brand new made in France, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. So, two spritzes. We're going to go for this one here. Okay, let them settle in for just a second. While they're settling in, if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. Here, you can push the subscription button, and next to the subscription button, you can also push the join button and become a member today. Join my channel, become a member, and get extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together on Patreon. If you join me on Patreon, you get to see videos that do not come to YouTube. Thank you so much to my patrons and members who have already pledged. Thank you guys so much. And also thank you to my co-chatters and co-reviewers. This video is being filmed live, so I have my chats here on the side. Everybody's going to review these perfumes together with me. Thank you guys so much for being here. So, now, they're different. This is like, it is what it is, you guys. They're different. Okay, it's something that you gotta just accept it. Every perfume that's not newly released today, and that has been released in the 90s, and even in the 2000s, up until 2012, 99% chances that they have been reformulated. It is what it is. Forget about it. It's never going to go back to what it was. None of them will. Whether because some of these perfumes have been in rotation for such a long time, they're not selling as much as they used to, so the brands want to cut costs. Or whether because certain regulations have changed, certain ingredients that were legal in the 80s, 90s, what have you, are illegal today. And you know, chemistry and science hasn't evolved that much to say, hey, we can create synthetic substitutes of natural ingredients in such a high quality that they really can't substitute the natural ingredients. It hasn't happened yet. And whoever tells you that it has is lying to you. A synthetic substitute of a natural ingredient never smells like the natural ingredient. Never. It comes close. It has something that resembles it, smells like it, but it ain't it. Today, maybe in a couple of years, science will evolve further and chemistry will evolve further, and we will be able to really replicate one-to-one the natural smell of something. Maybe we will. Today, it's still not possible. However, before I get to the however, I've come to the conclusion for myself, personally, it's just, I'm done with this constant, as a perfume lover, this constant desperation of running after pre-reformulation and you know, you're wearing the reformulated version, it's not as good, and you know how that formulation was, blah, 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 before that. I'm like, okay, we get it. It is what it is. This is the reality we're living in nowadays. Unless you don't love a perfume when it's released for the first, like a newly released perfume comes to the market, launched by a brand. If you love it, buy 20 bottles immediately, because chances are in 2 months they're going to reformulate it. Those are the times we live in. But if if you're not in that position, like I love 90s Dolce & Gabbana, what are you going to do? I hated the UK and the German versions. Hated them. Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble, by the way, also there was a certain phase when they took over from Euroitalia where the Procter & Gamble version of Dolce & Gabbana was still made in Italy before they moved it to Germany and then subsequently to the UK. So, but then Shiseido took over, and this is where I get to that part that I stopped talking about before. I was like, however, so Dolce & Gabbana relaunched Pour Homme in 2012. And that was made in UK. Didn't like it. They never announced a relaunching in 2017, right about the time when Shiseido took over, 2017, 18, 19, I think 2018. So all of a sudden, the made in Germany or made in UK started being made in France. Check out this gorgeous, the box. This big 200 mil. I was like, I'm going to get the biggest one I can immediately. That velvet. Interesting. This one is stated to have 78% alcohol, while the predecessor made in Italy has 79. And within that, however, despite the synthetics that are trying to mimic, listen, in the 90s, it's not like in the 90s when this one was first released in 1994. It's not like in the 90s all perfumes were natural. There was a ton of synthetics in them back then. So already back then, this perfume was not a natural perfume. It had a ton of synthetic material in it. So it's, I can tell you, they have simplified it. Okay. It's not that simple is bad in this case. Sure, it probably saves the money because it has less ingredients, but it's still really good. Made in France. I did not like made in UK and made in Germany. I have to be honest with you. I just didn't. They screeched in a weird way. This one in the opening has a Play-Doh-y note. Something very synthetic and Play-Doh-y. Which, the first time I smelled it, I was like, oh God, I can't. This is why? But it fades off really quickly. And then it goes into that typical, more bergamot-y aspect of Pour Homme that I'm used to from the Euroitalia version. And at a certain point, it goes into a soft baby powdery type of smell, floral, delicate powdery smell. A lot of people say, oh, the tobacco is missing. Why is the tobacco missing? Oh, the tobacco was the most prominent note in the original Made in Italy version. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I don't know who started this weird, again, one of those, perfume reviewing websites that support racist comments probably. And perfumes. Check out my video on Fragrantica for that. But in the tester, I have a tester bottle here of Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme. Not in any one of the notes listed. I have here, they're all listed on the bottle. All of the notes. Top, heart, and bottom. None of them have tobacco or tobacco leaf listed in them. So it's not a prominent note to begin with. It wasn't even from the get-go a prominent note in Dolce Gabbana's Pour Homme, not even at its inception. It is now, however. Now, even on the Dolce Gabbana website, right, they state, I wrote down here what they wrote on their own website. Yeah, a prominent tobacco note in the base of Dolce Gabbana. When perfumers use tobacco leaf or the tobacco note in their perfumes, they don't necessarily mean, oh, it smells like a cigarette. So don't be looking for that ashy smell. That's not what tobacco leaf is. It actually has a sweetness to its smell, and a stringent sweetness to it, right? So even in the current formulation, it's not like, oh yeah, in the dry down, there's the tobacco. No, not really. What I do get a lot of in here, and let me read to you what Dolce Gabbana state actually. In the top notes, they simplified it. They say citruses, bergamot, neroli, mandarin orange. Heart notes, lavender, sage, and pepper. Pepper is what I get a lot of here. Base notes, tobacco, cedar, tonka bean, the sweet aspect of tonka bean is what Dolce Gabbana write on their website. Of course, tonka bean is kind of a Swedish. It's very elegant. I really like it. It's a very, very simple rendition, a very modern, simplified, puristic rendition of Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme. Let's get to the notes of the original made in Italy now. So we're going to talk about the notes of this one here. Top notes. As listed on the actual bottle itself, on the tester bottle, bergamot, tangerine, orange, lemon. Heart notes, lavender, clary sage, tarragon, cardamom, black pepper. Bottom notes, sandalwood, cedarwood, tonka beans, variety of them, and musks, a variety of them. There's no musk listed in the base note of the current formulation. And there's no sandalwood listed in the current formulation. I'm thinking, no, there's no sandalwood there. But it's a sweet, the tonka bean is what gives it that sweetness that could be kind of like sandalwood-ish, but not really. And what certain websites list is way more notes. They list lavender in top, like you guys. Okay. Lavender is not in the top notes of this perfume. So this website listing lavender in the top, like this just tells you, like, really, girl? Anyway, lavender, lemon, bergamot, clary sage, tarragon listed in the top notes as well. It's not. Sorry, I bumped the microphone. It's in the mid notes. Pepper, cinnamon in the heart notes. Coriander, geranium, violet, jasmine, and rose. Girl. Base notes, tobacco, tonka bean, sandalwood, musk, cedar, amber, coumarin, and iris. The iris isn't in the base notes of the original Dolce Gabbana. What were they thinking? You got to be careful. You can't blindly follow what they tell you on these websites, as we've learned the hard way. So let me put each one in its... The complexity between these two is staggeringly obvious. The made in Italy version fulfills you when you inhale it. It's like a dry, dusty, powdery floral fougere that inundates you with feelings and emotions. I mean, it is just so that it's that beautiful. I mean, you could check out the review of Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme of the Euroitalia version on my channel. I'll post the link in the card section up here and also in the description box down below. So when you smell it, you get that, as it develops, that powdery, gorgeous depth. It has a dryness to it. It's very sophisticated. The new one becomes floral and light. It's like, yay, I'm young. It's like, I want to stay young. I mean, again, made in France. Yeah, they're telling me tobacco, cedar, tonka bean, but lavender, sage. I get a hint of lavender and sage in here in the dry down, and it's very, very delicate. And of course, they want you to overspray. So this one is really beautiful if you really go like 15 sprays. I've been testing it out. 15, 20, 25, 30 sprays all over. It becomes a beautiful bouquet when you do that, when you overspray it, and then it really works. Now, I did 2 sprays, and it's already like invisible. After smelling this one, it fulfills you completely. So after smelling the strength of this one, going straight to the reformulated version, like you can't even smell it. It's not even there. It's like if you spray them hand on hand, arm on arm, wrist on wrist, this one inundates you with pleasure. But after smelling this one, immediately smelling this one after smelling this one, it's like, where did the perfume go? If you don't have this one to compare, and you just go for this one, right? You get a very delicate, very subtle, super elegant, but delicate, subtle freshness, ease, elegance. It is elegant, you know. It's for what it is elegant, and I would repurchase it. I actually have to respray it now because like I can't even smell it anymore. Soapy, clean, the aldehydes in here. Yeah, it does have them. It's a detergent-y type of smell. And this is why a lot of people don't like it, because a lot of people say, you know, it's so easy when something smells soapy, it can easily smell cheap. I agree. There's a certain chemical type of soapy smell that if it goes in that direction, you're like, oh my gosh, no. This one doesn't go that cheap for me. You know, it has a quality to it. It has a quality to it, even though that quality is not breathtaking like the original Euroitalia Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme is. It just isn't. And it's a little bit more abrupt, more rough, more in the opening, more vulgar. It's a bit more like a vulgar male fragrance in the opening, and then it becomes more delicate and sophisticated, but very light in the dry down. While the first formulation of Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme sustains itself. It remains elevated. It remains up there with oomph and body and vigor. The body remains, it keeps giving, you know. This one is a good lover. This one keeps giving. Okay, this one keeps giving. This one is more, this one is more like, more moody, more like, no, I'm not in the mood. You gotta really work for it. Like more like mama's boy, like a typical Italian mamone. Always in front of the mirror, combing themselves, all pretty and perky, but like really tragic in bed because they were always used. Their moms always gave them everything, always. And for you Italians who might be watching this review, you're all going to be like super upset now and thumb down this video. Well, why? Because show the mirror at you. Like, oh, now you're reflected. Now, oh, somebody's actually talking to you like it is, keeping it real for 5 seconds on a social media platform where nobody ever keeps it real. How dare I? But it's the truth. This is the Mamone Italiano that is kind of all into himself. It's not really into the giving. This guy, let me tell you, this is the guy, he's not gorgeous. He's not all about the looks, And he was raised being more modest and humble. So he knows he has to work more in bed to deliver because it's not just the looks doing all the work for him. He's not the guy who just lays down and just like lets you do all the work. This guy does the work. He knows what he has to do to give pleasure. And that is Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme Eau de Toilette made in Italy. Oh, he gives pleasure. This one is more moody. It's more like, you know what? Oh, let me fix my hair again. Let me check. Wait, do I look good? Hold on. No, don't touch the hair. Don't touch the hair. You know that attitude? Sometimes I'm in the mood for that attitude. And then this one is great. But, he's all like smoke, but there's no beef cooking in the oven. There's no substance, Smoke, but no substance. And you're going to be like, okay, wait, Dacob, but then like, so you hate this perfume? No, I actually really like it. I really like it. But mind you, I am giving these definitions to this perfume in comparison to this one. when I compare the two, this is how this one results as compared to this one. But if you never smelled this one before, and this is all you got to go for, this is good. This is really good. And I'm using it and I'm loving it. And it's playful. It's a flirty little mess. It's funny almost, like Fougere Green Fruity Fresh. This one might be Fougere Green Fruity Fresh. This one is like Fougere-ish. Fresh, synthetically fresh, and greenish. But it ain't fruity. It's floral-ish. And I love it. I love it for the douchebag that it is. You know, it's like tricking you. It's like telling you, like, yeah, come on, Bella, look at me, I'm combed up, ready, let's go, come on, mama. And then when you go, they're like, oh, you're really coming now? Oh, what am I gonna do now? That's a little bit the the mystique of Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme made in France. And again, similar to my review of Dolce Gabbana Red Cap made in France, it's like when the French try to impersonate or give an impression of the Italians. It's a different type of coquetterie. It's a different type of being skanky. It's a different type of being a hoe. You know, it's like Italians know how to do it with flavor. The French do it with aseptic dryness, you know. And again, I always mention this as an example, but Belle de Jour with Catherine Deneuve in the movie, you know, she's this housewife from a bourgeoisie, from a bourgeois family. I mean, she has money, her husband is rich, she lives in a rich apartment. You know, she's bored with her life and she has these sexual fantasies, and so she becomes a prostitute. But you know, but she doesn't need to do it. You know, a lot of women need to do it because they don't have money to live, but she doesn't need to do it to survive. She just does it because she's bored with her life. And yeah, okay, let me be a prostitute. Like, you know, that kind of being bored, you know, that typical French allure, everything they see, even the way they talk, blah, 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 you know, that whole accent. It's like they're always annoyed and bored of life, basically. So there's no lust in the verbal communication with the French, like there is with the Italians. They speak with a passion. Italians, they speak with their hands, with their mouth, with their voice, with everything. It's like they're loud and it's like all over the place. And the French are more like, so this is what this one is. It is a French version of the Italian Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme. And if I'm in the mood for a French, you know, sexcapade, I go for this one. Why not? It's a mood. It's definitely a mood. And I love it for what it is. And I'm well aware that this one will be never again. Never again. This one is gone forever, and its depth and richness and flavor, and it's golden streaks of sunlight in the lavender fields. Forget about it. It's gone. Here you don't have those golden streaks of sunlight and lavender fields. If there's just no ambery depth to it. This one just stays light and slightly bored, while this one goes deep and envelops you and takes you on a ride and really wants to give you pleasure, while this one kind of wants to take it away a little bit from you. So there you have it. Review comparison of the two. Yes, I would repurchase both. I love them for their different ways of being themselves. This one in a sad way. But on a good note, on a positive note, you can't find this one really cheap, you know? I got this one off of Amazon for like dirt cheap. Sold directly from Amazon, not from some third sellers or what have you. So like I got 200 ml bottle for the price for which I got back in the day the 75 ml bottle. This one, however, this is, you know, my few drops left. Man. Yeah, it makes you dream. 75 ml. I only got like 10 ml left. I mean, and alone just the color of the liquid. I mean, you see the difference, how light this one is and how yellowy this one is. Like, look at that difference. Anyway, I hope you like this review. If you have, thumb it up. Let me read the chats. What you guys saying? Mateusz says, I sprayed Dolce Gabbana with you, and it is way nicer after a while. I love the smell. Makes me smile every time I smell it. Mateusz says, yep, Peppa. I hate it where there's smoke but no beef, says Mr. Fabulous. Yeah. Louis says, so the big one is a bottom. Got it. Yes. We love a big bottom, says Emilio. It's a mood, my world of fragrances. It's a mood. Applause, applause. Mr. Philip Fabulous says, the way you described this perfume is how I felt when I smelled Roja Danger. The opening is intense. I'm promised the most amazing SEX. And once you get to it, big mama's boy. Yeah. No, miss. Not miss. Again, every every live stream we end up talking about Roger Dove. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, I'm not saying, oh, if you can't get this one at any cost, get this one if you can at any cost. I'm not saying that. I will be repurchasing this one too. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm super curious. How is this going to be? What's the next reformulation? Because we think, oh, okay, well, this is the ultimate version now. This is what's on the market now. This is it. But it ain't it. You know that there's going to be yet another reformulation and yet another. Like, when is it going to end? Is the next reformulation going to be even more toned down than this one? Can they tone it down even more? Yeah, sure. They're going to start selling you water in a bottle and call it Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme and say, like, yeah, there it is. Everything is possible in this day and age we live in. Like, crazier things have happened. But I do love the smell of this one as it is. Sorry, it's here. As limited as it is, as reduced and reductive as it is, I love it. At least it doesn't try so much to, like the made in UK and made in Germany version. They want it to really be Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme. This one, different bottle design, no more sticker, different lid. It's like, hey, I'm different. Just to let you know, I'm simplified, I'm different. And I'm fine with that. I think that's honest enough. And it's an okay smell. But of course, the other one is like, oh. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thumb up this video if you like it, and subscribe to my channel. You can also push the join button next to the subscription button and become a member today and get extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there, and get access to special videos that do not come to YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, superdacob all spelled together. What else can I say? I sometimes wish I had a time machine. I often think I have. I often wish I had a time machine just to be able to stock up on certain things more and appreciate them more when they actually existed, when they were made, because you take things for granted that are amazing. And it's true what they say, you never know what you're missing until it's gone. And perfumes being discontinued and reformulated is the best example to prove that point. It's like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, I can repurchase that perfume. I finished the bottle. I'll purchase it next month. I'll purchase it next year. And then all of a sudden, it's gone, and you're like, oh, now I want the perfume. Oh, they don't make it anymore. I love that perfume so much. I'm like, yeah, you had like 10 years time to purchase it. Why didn't you? And this is something that happens a lot as well. So I say, in particular, when it comes to new releases, I'm not talking about re-editions, reformulations, and flankers. I'm talking about a brand releases a new perfume for the first time today, and you love how it smells. Don't wait. Do not wait. If you love how it smells, buy it. Stock up on that bottle and that batch that you got. Don't wait, because chances are the next month or year they're going to reformulate it or discontinue it, and then you're going to be really disappointed. I mean, we got to learn from our mistakes at the end of the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you like this review. If you have, thumb it up again, and never forget to never give up on love. See you soon. Take care. Bye.